Welcome all. This is the Finance Committee meeting for Town of Townsend, February 22nd. We're going to call the meeting to order at 4:07 p.m. And can I have a roll call of the Finance Committee members?
Carolyn Bezique is here.
Gene is here. Mark Hussey.
Andrea Wood here.
Don Hayes, present. Sam? Need to come off mute. Yeah, in the lower left, Sam, is a microphone. You need to unmute it.
Didn't know it was muted. Sorry, Sam Green.
Yeah, thank you. Sam Grant's here. Full committee, thank you. The next item on the agenda, we are recording the meeting as well as broadcasting it on Channel 9, so it will be broadcast live, replayed, and available on YouTube in the future. Next item on the agenda, additions and deletions. At the chair, I have none. Does anybody have anything that needs to be addressed? Nothing heard. We're good. Item 5 in the preliminaries, review correspondence. Andrea, is there anything?
Empty mailbox.
Okay, thank you. Okay. At this point, what I'd like to do is jump. Ross will be leaving in just a couple of minutes, so we'll jump to the work session and let Ross talk to us about the updates to the workbooks and the handouts for today. And
So there's a new ominous budget today, which I think Jalen will bring home for Andrea. It shows roughly an overall budget of $25,649,523, or an increase from last year of $1,290,283, representing a 5.3%. So that's down from where it was in the past. Part of the reason it's down was because I took $70,000 out of the police department budget. And they're asking for 2 new cruisers. I put it in the capital, so we still get it, just come from different fund. I talked to the chief briefly this afternoon, and he said that those are leased vehicles. And these are like the second year of a lease payment. Without going into more detail, he feels it needs to be in the operating budget versus in a capital budget.
So are these leased to buy or just leased?
Lease to buy,
Okay,
but it's a
just 3-year
Lease.
program.
it's a lease expense that he says should be in his operating budget. I didn't get any further pros and cons of that. Other than that, I was hoping it would give us some relief on the operating budget by putting it in capital. But so the number you're seeing today needs to go back up by 70,000.
And puts us back close to the percentage higher.
Now, the reason was 2 issues with this. One, I think we need to get the increase percentage down lower. I think a 5+% increase is tough on the taxpayers. The second is when I've done a recap sheet, which is the second sheet I sent you. The first number in there represents the total for the omnibus budget. I'm going to be keeping track of warrant articles and how they're funded. Most of the warrant articles will not be raising appropriate, but we'll track them as a free cash or borrowing and show the money correspondingly. What's really important is what is our available tax levy? And I've looked at calculating tax levy for FY '23, which is based upon your FY '22 tax levy, plus 2.5% plus new growth. The first two numbers I've gotten from the state, so I believe those numbers are correct. The 130,000 that I got from the assessors is their best guess on new growth. And I don't feel in a position to adjust that up or down. That leaves us a levy limit for FY '23 that at the moment, when I add in the 70,000, is $927,000 in the red. It shows 857,698 in your sheets, but you really got to add 70,000 that's in that last minute adjustment, please. So that's just under $1 million. I believe we can't raise without exceeding the 2.5 limits, or it has to be cut. And frankly, I don't know how you can cut $1 million out of this budget. I mean, I know you can take 10,000 here, and you can cut back somebody's expenses. You could even say, and I'm not advocating this by any means, you could say no raises, which is 3%, but it's in rough calculations, it's about $120,000 per 1% of salary increases across the town. If you zero out everybody that we put in at 3%, you might cut this number 360,000. That still leaves us a bit in the red. And I'm not advocating that. I think when inflation is at 6%, offering employees 3% is not making them whole, but it's also the most you might want to ask the taxpayers. So we've got some adjusting to do to get this underneath the levy limit. And this is the first week we've sort of talked about the revenue and the levy limit type restrictions. And we've got, a couple of weeks to continue to work this, but this is the hard part. The meeting you're going to have on Saturday, I think you can beat up individual budgets and say $500 here, $1,000 there, and $10,000 there.
Yeah.
And take an awful lot of those to make up $920,000. And I would love to have someone check and double check my calculations and show me where I'm wrong. But this is where we are today.
Yeah, the harsh reality, or will we stand on the budget and need to?
It's a tough pill to swallow, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's still early in the process. I think I budgeted high on insurance. I think I budgeted high on the schools. I don't think collectively there's $920,000 of room there.
We've got to see what realistically we can cut. Even, the 10,000 here, the 80,000 here, or whatever.
I think we owe that to the voters.
Yeah.
To cut as much as possible.
Even if we start out small.
My goal has always been to keep the infrastructure going, keep things, we have to be able to process certain things. I'm not advocating shutting down any departments. But
Well, I don't see how you could shut down. I mean, we're pretty
No.
small. Really.
Yeah.
Small.
Most departments are small. There's just a couple of larger departments, and their budgets are.
reflect that.
Yeah. Okay,
All
Well-
right.
So
Thank
with that bombshell, I'm
Yeah.
gonna duck out for another call, and I'll be right back.
okay, very good. Yes.
If you can find $920,000 when I'm gone,
And
But you know,
let me know, please.
do we have any way to contact the Foxwoods or
Yeah.
buy lottery tickets?
Okay.
Thank you.
I think one of the questions we did have last week, though, was if, I don't know if the police chief had put in for officers that were not accounted for.
Right, we had the question about the sergeant salary. I think it was.
Well, I didn't mean you had to answer
No,
it
no,
now. It's just something I was talking with
We'll-
these guys
yeah.
about. Go do your
We'll-
thing.
We'll go, we'll,
I think he cut his budget or adjusted his budget reflecting the people that weren't there.
right,
Okay, and bringing them back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't connect on my laptop.
well, we jumped over there just to get him before he, wasn't, I'm not sure how long he's gonna go. So if we come back to the agenda on the meeting business, I had reviewed the, meeting minutes. And we had, and I don't want to make it a whole meeting about meeting minutes, so in this case, we're going to do the December 7th and the March 1st. Minutes.
I don't think I was here.
You weren't here,
No.
you can vote on the acceptance, probably not comment on the content.
Okay.
Andrea, you wrote them, so I'm sure you have a copy. Sam, I apologize. I don't have it. I've only got hard copy, so I don't
That's
have
okay.
a soft copy.
I understand. Difficult times.
So,
what was Article 2?
I'm sorry.
What was Article 2? Oh, really, really,
Yeah, this is,
December.
yeah.
Well, this kind of looks like as I remember it, so I'm going to say I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of December 7th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the December 7th minutes and a second. Any further discussion?
Who seconded it?
Gene?
Thank you.
No further discussion being heard. A roll call vote, please, on accepting the December 7th minutes.
Carolyn Mazikas, yes?
Gene,
Henry Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
And Mark had said yes to Andrea.
Yes.
And Don Hayes is yes. And moving on to the February 1st minutes.
Meetings, I'll make a motion to accept the meeting of February 1st, 2022. Seems to be as I remember it.
Second,
Jane seconded it, Andrew.
Thank you.
I was here.
Yep.
Yes, you were.
Yes, I was.
Is the minutes state? Any further discussion? Questions,
It's fine.
changes? Okay. That being said, a roll call vote, please, to accept the minutes for February 1st, 2022.
Geraldine Bezikas, yes?
Green, yes.
Wood, yes.
Sam Grant,
Mark,
yes.
Hayes, yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Okay, sorry. I came back. Okay, so when the next item on the agenda was to discuss the capturing and following up of questions, and so we had the questions captured by Ross. And we will take care of that. Let's see. Sorry. Looking at the meeting, and it would be sort of the future meeting dates and times. I'd like to jump to that. Just we'll give the opportunity to Ross to come back in. I'm gonna share a file. So we'll see it. And this is in regards to the meeting this Saturday. It's a joint meeting, three boards, capital planning, finance committee, and board of selectmen.
I will be here,
Okay, thank you.
What time did it start?
9 o'clock.
Oh, okay. This Saturday.
This
This
coming
Saturday,
Saturday till
yeah.
1 o'clock, June.
Where the hell is the gentleman? Okay. That'll be right down here.
When Ross was here, he asked that the police department be first.
Oh, get out of my face.
Council on Aging, you want to go?
Council on Aging wants to, so 25 minutes.
I was there.
Well, the last slot was open anyway, so we'll take 20 minutes, gets us to.
Okay.
Leaves us an open slot there, and okay, so in no particular order, this is reflecting where we are at this particular time. Let me pull it up a little bit for those on the phone. That a little better on the phone? I'm sorry, on the screen. So we're going to call the meeting to order at 9 o'clock. Police department will come in 9:10 to 9:30.
John,
Yep.
excuse me, but I'm right now looking at the Townsend website, and there's nothing scheduled for Saturday.
Okay, we'll get it posted.
And I assume it'll be Zooming, correct?
It will be Zoom on top. Yep. And
I will go to that calendar on that morning, and I'll put it down for now.
Yeah,
All right.
okay, thank you.
Thank
Kind of-
you.
Yeah, we haven't sent the agenda to, this would be part of the agenda. So we haven't sent this to the town clerk. We can send it to the town clerk with the Zoom meeting information and then do an update, but it has to be posted very shortly here, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
This will be part of it. It kind of.
I'll put it on my personal calendar now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And just wanted to have everybody have their input if we're getting all departments in that we need to speak with at this point. We have police, fire, the board of selectmen, which they have their budget, plus I believe they're responsible for the IT since there is no IT
Where's
lead.
communications falling
Communications, the communication center, probably a bridge between the police and the
in?
fire.
Okay.
So maybe some overlap. So let's back that so that there's a bit of overlap. 5 minutes together with the police department and the fire department. And you'll notice they're not exactly back to back. There's, in the case between fire department and the board of selectmen, there's a 5 minute, just to make sure if there's any overrun that we don't. We don't keep backing up the schedule. I tried to build a little bit in there for that. We have library coming in. After that, as I said, the open slot right now. Maybe we can tighten it up. And put everybody back to back. And if we finish early, we can get there. Council on Aging. So we might move that in. If we don't fill slots and see anybody else, we can move Council on Aging. That'll be our last, and we'll adjourn after Council on Aging. Okay, sorry. So I went kind of quick. Any questions or anybody that we haven't seen their budget yet that we want to get in?
What am I?
Yep.
I have a problem with the Board of Selectmen's budget,
Okay.
and I know it's on there. If you could look at the printout we have, because I may be misunderstanding, but they put in for 2 new positions, right? But there's no expense line for those people. If you read the job descriptions, they're very expensive.
Well, the problem is, I don't think that it's probably a 2-year thing with APRA, but
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to be able to afford them. Whether we have them for free now or not, but if it comes to the end of the 2 years and we can't afford them, then we're stuck with unemployment.
I agree. I do.
Yes. I agree as well. But to leave out that in the budget seems like a horrible mistake to have made, not allowing them any expenses. And we should at least have an idea, if we're going to sell the idea that these positions are too expensive, we should have all the potential expenses.
So you're saying that the salary, that's a salary with no, it's not showing any expenses afterwards, correct?
No,
So
in their
we-
budget, in the selectmen's budget, that is correct. In the selectmen's budget, it looks like they're only budgeted for the needs of the selectman's office.
Correct. Well, the thing is, if people get used to those two positions in town, and then we can't afford them, they're gonna wonder, they're gonna be very unhappy, and right now, we can't afford much of anything.
And the copy of the Excel file I have up and I'm displaying is a week old. We do have a new version that was handed out tonight, that I don't have. But on the
I think the
Item-
numbers stayed the same.
item 12, the numbers stayed the same, but, for instance, the community outreach coordinator is showing that, Opera is paying some and Council on Aging is paying 10,000. So I think when we look at Council on Aging, we'll see this position there.
Well, is it
In
for
there.
selectmen or is it for the, COA?
I believe the position is promoting, what, programs are available to the people of Townsend. So it's a bit, and where it's the ARPA money, the majority of it is coming from the Board of Selectmen, but there's money also coming from Council on Aging.
But the ARPA funds are only for salaries. They're
Right,
not for
and-
expenses.
Yep, right, exactly. So I think to your point is other office supplies, other travel, other,
They'll need
Other-
computers, things like computers. Each one will need a computer. Each one will need a number of other just office
Mhm.
essentials. And there's no sum for those.
right, yeah. So when we get to, and if it's the IT, and computers, then that may be picked up in the IT budget. And so we'd have to ask those questions, to follow up and say, are computers and expenses in other budgets?
Right, great,
Got it,
thank
yep.
you.
Okay, yep, I got it.
Good one.
Doesn't COA have an outreach program?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Then the same thing would go through for grant administrator too,
Any of
the position was there, yeah. So it's a general statement across with all the new positions, what other expenses are there on top of, looking at these positions, I'd say it's a full-time position and health insurance and other
The benefits.
operating expenses,
Yeah.
would end up being increased.
Yeah.
Which is continues to drive up the total.
How much did you say we're in the red for how much?
About $1 million.
Close to 900,000,
Almost a
920,
million, almost a million.
almost, yeah. If you're willing to say 900,000 is almost $1 million,
Close enough.
What was it?
close enough.
Yeah.
It's, he said add 70 to it, so it's kind of like this total come to
I
920.
don't understand why that couldn't come out of capital just to make things right, just to ease the burden. Unless there's something I don't understand.
I always thought it came out of it.
Well, you know what? I agree with you. I thought it did too.
But I think when they went to leases, I think
That's what it's switched
Cap-
over.
it's switched over because capital is more a year over
A
year.
purchase.
A purchase and, yeah,
But I tell you what, if we look back, I think we did that with the lease ones too. I think it came out of capital back then, a few years ago. They've been leasing them for some.
It was the opposite way. It just got included into capital a few years ago because
Oh, but they did pay.
it's a capital expense. However, it's also something that the department needs and does every year. So
Mhm.
that's why it in the past has always appeared just in their budget and will go on whether it's in capital or not, because it's something they have to have.
Now that I think harder, I know you're right, yeah. Because I was always concerned we didn't have the money in capital.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they didn't, because it came out of, yeah, you're right. I
They're all-
apologize, yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Okay.
It's just a little switch for, yeah, where the money is, and that's 70,000. Okay. Capturing the comments, get them in here for the new position. This is,
I wish I could better understand this realignment of the fire department,
okay, well,
you know?
I don't understand
I
it
mean,
at all.
it's sure, I understand what they're doing, but
mhm,
or trying to do, or.
yeah,
But the realignment of the department doesn't tell you much for a lot of money in increase.
just reaching in to see if there's anything in the backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, is just the budget line,
One sheet,
Yeah.
two sheets.
two
yeah.
sheets, yeah. So we need to, and again, that will be, I guess, the Saturday discussion.
That could be a long discussion.
Yeah. Okay. All right, does anybody have, will we stop reviewing budgets in the last meeting?
We went through police, I think, right?
We did, and I think we got to fire and,
I think we're on.
yeah, we had gone through police because the questions had been, with the wages that were going lower, we were concerned that positions that are just not, are open right now.
Right.
um,
And I think correct me if I'm right, I think Ross said this is the corrected one we're looking at now, what he did add for people that were,
Okay, yeah,
I believe.
So this is today's date, right?
this was today.
Yeah.
It's here.
2222 version.
Tiny.
Okay, and so when I look at today's version versus the number that is here, it's increased to 1,453,386. So today's sheet does look like they've added back in. So they've answered our question that
Yeah.
they weren't accounted for, and now they are. So we have the complete budget. So.
So did he add somebody new in?
I think he just took into consideration hiring the sergeant that was short of staff, anybody that was short on staff.
Sorry, I'm just trying to go through and see where the changes. 29, 30, 13, okay, I had it backwards. 686, so the operating staff has gone up to 686 from the 654. So that's where the increase is going. It's been, so. Okay, so we're looking for
The thing is, when we talked about, either getting 2.5 or 3%.
Yeah.
That didn't take into consideration union.
right. The unions have their
The
contract
union staff, their contracts,
separate. And
separate.
So they don't get the 3%, they get whatever the union said dictated. So that's why some of these aren't adding up to 3%. Yeah. Okay. All right. So should we move to the fire department or
We can,
do
yeah.
some of that?
I had just taken the comment and put in here with we're looking for the explanation, the organization structure
Yeah.
changes and in relating to FY 23 budget. And we had conversations because we're going to go further down and there'll be some notes. And we had, maybe not in this version, we were looking at some of the numbers for the fire department. And, the expenses were, and maybe it's an ambulance. This, see if I grabbed the wrong one.
Like 350 and line 350 and 351, those are pretty big jumps.
Yeah.
On track increase. That's, $21,000.
Nope,
Oh, where are you on this thing?
350 and 351.
Okay.
And is that just one person or is that a couple of people?
Right.
Says lieutenant.
Did they have two though?
So again, we.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
But that's a big increase. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
Next one down, the captain. Or captains, that's what would make it interesting. We have two, maybe it ain't that bad.
Mhm.
Contractual increase.
Paramedics went up almost $95,000. Are we adding people? I'm sure they were under. to
I think they
start.
were trying to bring him up to what they,
Correct, yeah, which they
Right.
should be,
Yeah.
but are we adding more too? That's a $94,000
Well,
increase.
you wonder if,
You
we
know,
wonder if they are adding, or
yeah,
if they didn't add, would it cost more because they'd have to do time and a half or?
correct.
Are you-
So, I mean, I guess I'm asking, what does that number represent? I know it's
I
a
don't know.
contractual increase, but are we adding a couple guys too?
Yeah.
You know, just
I'm
so we
not-
know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It
And it,
makes more sense that way to me,
so,
if that was it.
okay, so we,
We're up $72,000 for overtime.
Oh, yeah.
Fire.
yep,
How'd you guess?
and that's what it was. It's kind of like we were on fire, and when we get down into some of the other lines, there was a lot of others and,
Questioning him.
yeah,
So we need to know if those are extra people, but
right.
Wasn't there a $20,000 I thought was somewhere for building repairs?
It is, so we have,
Can't find it now.
repair and maintenance building, 20,000 is on line 373 on this one. And it is 373 here.
Would something like that qualify for capital?
I don't know.
You know, I mean, we're repairing roofs out in capital. We
Well,
did
what
a
are we
few-
repairing here?
Hmm?
Capital
are we-
purchases have to be $10,000 or more.
Right, this was 20, this is 20.
Okay.
I don't know where the repair is.
Right, so the questions are coming in with these and with the increases, on the maintenance. To see, is it a single purchase that qualifies for the capital, or is it going to be a smaller amount maintained for each of the buildings?
Yeah,
Each of the buildings,
yeah,
and
exactly.
the questions come, which buildings are they? And it's kind of like last week is coming back to me a little more, because we did have this question about what buildings are actually under
Facilities, yeah.
under facilities, and which buildings are in the fire department and maintained by fire department. In general, they have 3 newer buildings where they're housing equipment, and the older buildings that are not.
Mhm.
And so we need to, those are the questions as to where they are in, you know, so again, is it a capital item where it's 20,000 for one lodge, or is it, you know, how's it broken down by facility? So we have many of those questions. We identified percentages that were, we have building maintenance and building supplies. And so questions with the materials, with the supply, with the increases.
Right, because there's a few other supply
Mhm.
items
Right,
that, you know, okay, what is it? I mean,
right.
why is there not just one other supply? Who knows?
Yep. Is, uh, um,
New equipment, 20,000.
And again, that was the question on what equipment is the new equipment.
Right, because there's also an increase for,
We have new equipment and replace equipment. So
right,
kind
right.
of like, so, we're looking for,
Where is it
A
together?
little clarity, that's all.
Yeah. okay, anything, any questions, for, fire department from Sam or Andrea on the phone?
I'm sorry, Don, I need an updated list to understand what's going. Mine is dated 2/13, and I checked my
Yeah.
email and there's nothing, younger than that. But I am trying to keep track of it
Yeah,
We
okay.
just got this tonight.
with the,
Yeah,
some
we
of
gotta-
the changes you've talked about, I can't get.
Yeah,
I can send it to you tonight if it's any help,
Mm.
if not, I'll send them to you in the morning, whichever you'd like.
Does he want to come in down with the office? Does he want a copy of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a copy here if he wants to come and get it.
Yeah. okay, so, okay. Okay, Sam, are you, willing to come down to town hall and pick them up?
I'm not
Okay.
willing to go into town hall.
Okay,
He's not.
no, then emailing it? would be-
Email is the best way. I've got a bunch of computer screens here and I can readily read it when you tell me what line or show me on your machine here what line you're on.
Yep.
I've been able to follow along to a point. Your
Right.
comments and
Yep.
some of them, it's kind of hard to keep up with.
Okay, yeah,
There been changes since the 13th that are very kind of seem to be important, the way the talk sounds with everybody else.
as far as the police went, yes, fire seems to be pretty. Let me check the bottom line, 1499. Yeah, fire is the same from the 13th with the fire department.
Or
So,
1402, right?
Oh, 149.
1,499,767.
Well, the one I have is 1402 and change. So there's
Okay,
90-some
so that's,
thousand, 90-some
Yep.
thousand add to it since it got here.
yeah, okay, understood.
There we were a difference of 95. At that point, our difference was 95,656. Greater than the year before.
Yeah,
And now you're up to 180,000 more.
193,
right?
right?
193,000 more, yeah,
Okay. I just
Yep.
given it off the top of the guess.
yeah.
All right.
No.
Don't some of these mores have a little bit to do with what the town can afford?
We will get there. Right now, these are budgets that department heads are saying they need to do their
Right.
business thing.
Okay,
And so we're going through, highlighting some things and where we have questions. When we get done and the overview that Ross had given us a little earlier is saying that right now between revenues and the budget, the difference is about 920,000 shortfall. So yes, we'll definitely be needing, to come back and visit that amount and see how do we erase that deficit.
I just emailed Andrea and Sam and the rest of
Okay.
you, this version of the budget.
Thank you.
yeah, if basically having it here by whatever, Friday, Saturday morning, whatever we're gonna be working on Saturday would be really nice.
Yep.
I can follow it. I've got 4 screens, including this one. My main computer does not have my ability for me to talk to it, so that's why I'm using a little laptop. But everything else, like the either the email up as a, an Excel document in front of me and the ability to bring yours up, the big screen, where you put your, spreadsheet up on, the screen. I can bring that up on a bigger screen than just the laptop and actually right next to each other and compare what I've got and look at it all as you go through.
Yep.
So yeah, that would be important for Saturday's meeting.
Yep, okay, so it should be in your inbox shortly if it's not there already. So we'll have that.
And there probably will be an update between now and Saturday, but I will send everybody the latest sheet before Saturday.
I will close out what I've got here because I just got Ross's 2222, whatever you call it.
Yep.
5 2s just showed up. No.
Do we have a tree warden?
We do.
A tree warden? Well, I didn't know we had, I mean, we used to have one. I don't know who he is now.
Yeah.
Don Mitsuko.
Oh, is that who it is?
Yeah.
Okay,
He's been a tree warden for years.
really?
100 years.
Okay, so we know we have the questions and we're looking for that clarity regarding the fire budget. So with that, anything else on fire EMS?
No, I'm good with that.
Okay, then closing out this, that part of the safety between fire and police, we're looking in the communications department. And
I guess I wonder what $200,000 is in for other service. Line 421. Or 420, I'm sorry.
Is this now where they're going up for the tree?
I don't know, that's what I wonder. But is that our fee? Then maybe that's our fee.
That's the fee for, estimated fee for moving the Patriot.
Okay.
And if you were to,
yeah.
You know what the percentage of that budget is now?
The percentage of
The increase.
increase.
May I ask a question regarding the fire department?
Yep.
The last week, Ross said that the fire chief, Mark Boynton, resigned as of February 4th. But he, in his contract, I believe he has a separation agreement. There seems to be no funding in this budget for that separation agreement.
correct, because his separation agreement is not going into FY '23. The separation agreement is actually just 7 weeks. So that'll be done up in
Mid-April.
mid-April.
You're absolutely right. I got time confused. Thank you.
Now, the good news is, when we went to the December town meeting, not knowing what the outcome would be, I budgeted his salary and the acting chief's salary all the way through June. So we will save 2.5 months, more or less, on the salary line item. It will help us with free cash, but anyway, there's no severance for the ex-fire chief in FY '23.
Thank you.
Good catch, thank you. And, I had forgotten that piece. So you would ask percentages in the communications.
What was the percentage? I'm sorry.
Total is gonna be 9.1 increase.
9.1.
Yeah.
So this is our contribution towards.
Towards the Patriot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And question on, is the Patriot contract in moving to them, a contract going forward, is it multiple years, or is this gonna be year to year?
No, it is definitely multiple years. I haven't seen the contract in a while, I don't know whether it's 3 or 5.
Mhm.
Multiple years.
Thank you.
And that's a pretty solid number, or,
I wouldn't go that far.
okay, all right,
Best estimate at this point.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought you had said that, so.
Oh, you want me to give you consistent answers from week to week?
Yeah, we just tested you.
See if you remember week to week.
God, if I remember being there.
Andrea would remember though.
Yes, she would.
Okay, at this point, any additional questions on the communication center, or we just?
I'm good.
We just have to wait till that number's firmed up.
Yeah.
For real, I guess.
For, yeah,
For the communication, yes, yeah.
okay. Okay, so that was really where we had finished fire, moved into this. Next on the priority that we had was highway department. Sorry, we'll get to the top of highway, the salaries and the personnel. Um, The,
It's not a lot of money,
No.
but 569, are we adding an employee or putting him on to more hours from doing?
on 569.
Yeah,
It's more hours.
is it more hours? He wasn't, yeah, okay.
I think that's it says support staff, I was assuming it was, we had added in, admin last year.
Okay,
There was-
because it says reestablished position.
Right, so last year was the admin was added back in, and so this seems to be increasing the hours.
Mm-hmm.
At least going from 10 to 19.
Yeah, it's not a whole bunch of money.
And then, any questions, Sam or Andrea on the phone, on the personnel for the highway? That would be lines 565 to 572.
No,
Okay.
Your budget was pretty much in line.
Yeah. Expenses, he's pretty much held where he can at the 2% that we had requested. There are several lines that are going up 10 to 50%, mostly associated with the repair and maintenance with the older equipment. So renewal price increase on the DOT consortium. And then inflation fuel costs for the equipment supplies and the other supplies.
Yeah.
Which again, it is lines 576 to 592. And no line painting. Oh, sorry. Trying to keep it big enough to see. Okay, no questions for highway there. Okay, snow and ice. Lines 598 to 611.
What equipment do we rent?
I'm just curious, is equipment rental, is that contractors that plow for us?
That's part of it, yes.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what this is.
Oh, is that my number? Is that my number being done? Dude.
And then the highway department overtime wages going up a total of 6%, but that's the 3% for the town meeting and a 3% fiscal year 2023.
3%, yes, and the special town meeting should have been in there. Thanks, buddy. But
And total increase on the budget is 3.5, which I guess I don't have any questions on this. Relatively close to the personnel and
Yeah,
pretty well kept to the 2%.
Yeah.
With the exception of the rental. Now, streetlights,
Really?
really, one. Streetlights is still in highway, it's line 619 to 621.
That was the electric bill from Unitel for a month and multiplying it by 12.
What?
And I think electricity tax gone up, so.
Yeah. If anybody here, yeah, opens up the,
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Back to the highway for a minute.
okay? Yeah,
Don't we usually raise and appropriate a set amount and then we go into deficit spending? We don't increase snow and ice every year. The selectmen have to increase it or something. We don't just increase that expense.
You know?
Well, I think legally it actually has to go up a little bit. You can't decrease it from year to year.
No, you can't
That's-
decrease it. That's why we always vote it the same and take up the extra costs, which is not actually a good practice.
Right.
Well, it's not because it comes out of either free cash or reserve fund transfer at the end of the year or some
Right.
other line transfer.
But do the
Um,
selectmen have to vote or something to increase the amount? It seemed to me there was more to increasing the amount for snow and ice than just increasing the amount for snow and ice.
I don't believe they have to vote specifically. They will vote, I hope, on the whole budget or individual departments between now and
Okay.
town. But I don't believe they have to specifically vote to increase snow and ice.
Okay,
When the estimate today is $160,000 deficit for this year.
Right.
That's ahead of the storm that's coming Friday and Saturday. I told Jimmy to shoot the bloody groundhog and no more. But he didn't seem to think that was gonna help him any, so.
well, this year the bad has been ice rather.
Yes,
I don't think the snow has been nearly the problem the ice has.
correct.
That's pretty sure. A 100% for certain.
okay, so is that something we need to check into, Andrew, or is? how
No,
snow and ice is-
What he said is fine.
Okay, yep, it's kind of like, and again, I remember, I thought it was, there was some sort of increase that was applied, especially if you were significantly deficit spending on
As long
on a
as you
big
show
bill.
that you
Well,
increased
you
it.
know, one of the things that I think happened in the past is you have to go to a town meeting with a balanced budget. If
Yeah.
you always do snow and ice at a set sum and make it up later, maybe it's kind of an aid to balancing the budget. You know,
No,
even though it's not a realistic reflection of the cost, it
Right.
does give you a balanced budget. It could help to give you a balanced budget in the end.
Yeah, I think that again, because it's a variance year over year, I think we have to show that we're attempting it in the budget and do the deficit spending if required. Then the one
But
that
you-
comes to mind,
You also have to keep in mind that even though it's very expensive and we increase it, we can never go below what we increased it to. So you have to be careful there as well.
it's been a pretty dry and icy winter comparatively speaking. some reasonable dumps, but not, for a winter, it hasn't been terrible other than terribly icy. My biggest complaint has been, freeze thaw, freeze thaw, freeze thaw. Every day you're out there and you're slipping around because it thawed out the day before. And we are still in pretty deep a hole for having to, patch the pothole of not enough money put aside. It's going to be a long time before we get weather that we are going to have extra left over at the end of the year. And now we're going into an end of year. We got way too much expenses. But what did you say? The bottom line was 6.1 right now over revenue and
Oh,
increase, I should say. And something's got to be done for that. So having the snow and ice be a little close to being under budgeted versus being terribly under budgeted is kind of important.
but again, to Andrea's point, if we took this and upped it to say 400,000, we'd never be able to put less than 400,000 in the
Right.
budget again. So by going up this 3.5%, we're showing that we're increasing, trying to keep it there. And I'm hoping that 2015 doesn't come again where we had that incredible amount of 120 total inches in the
Right.
in that.
When global warming is officially here, we might be able to cut back.
Yeah.
Until then,
But for
I
now,
think we have to keep the way we are. And I would hate to tie up the budget by trying to make it closer to being realistic.
right. As we are allowed to do the deficit spending on this line, and it's a good one to have and needed in certain extreme cases. And I'll show my age and say, yes, I was around for Blizzard of '78, and that was an extraordinary storm.
Oh, it was.
Okay, okay, so I'm gonna move back to streetlights, and again, this is increased because we've got the Unitil increase.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's kind of, gotta keep the lights on where they are.
I wish I knew where the streetlights were.
Yeah.
You can come take mine.
We'll shut it
You
off
can
and
have
say.
it. I'll let you haul it away free of charge.
Okay. Okay, so we're sitting at,
Excuse me,
yep,
it's because I guess alphabet wise, it follows. But streetlights aren't really part of the highway budget.
oh,
Well, don't they maintain it?
No,
Who puts a new
don't
light
think
bulb in
so.
it? What?
I think
Not there.
retail does.
Unitil?
I think.
I
They gotta
thought
make
we were
money somehow.
responsible.
But streetlights is a line item unto itself. It's not part of the highway budget.
Yeah,
it's under highways and streets, so it's a section, right, it's kind of like we're paying the electric bill to Unitil for energy for the streetlights, not necessarily maintaining them or that. The actual definition for highway energy streetlights, so that's a separate line item for strictly the streetlight. And I think because it's street, it's been falling under the highway budget for several years at least, that I've been looking at it.
Curbside pickups going up, what, 45,000?
That is a contract.
That's a contract.
Shit, we can just get rid of that, the 751, and we'd be even. Oh, I can hear that
Yeah,
now.
I was gonna say, you're never gonna do that in town.
No, that would be
That's something
disastrous.
everybody loves.
Uh-huh.
But not every town has it,
No, they don't. I agree.
you know.
And,
It's gotta go someplace, so.
Exactly.
Got a place to
Exactly,
take it?
yeah. No, you don't. You want your own dumpster in your own yard.
Well, that's what some towns do, actually.
I know.
I'm not saying we should get rid of it by any
Oh, no,
means. It's
me
a
either.
great
I
service.
like it,
Absolutely.
I use it, but they did go up considerably.
Probably in the
Yeah, probably.
contract.
It's in the contract. I believe last year they stayed level funded with us, and then this year was the increase. And it was a 3-year contract, so it
Is
goes
this
up
the
again
last
next
year, you
year.
know?
I believe this is the middle year, and it was a
Okay.
3-year contract. We can double check with Board of Health for sure, but
Just
that's
curious.
how I remember it.
They've got labor and they've clearly got fuel costs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And parts aren't getting cheaper, so.
No.
Well, I guess that's it on that.
Yeah, yeah. It was a quick one. Cemetery and parks, it's just labor increase, that I can see.
Hmm. Yeah, they didn't,
Couple of maintenance items.
Um, did they come in capital? And I apologize. I didn't.
No.
I have not
No,
seen it.
no, they did not.
I sent
Okay.
Roger a note today to say, I don't have it. If you send it to me, I apologize. Send it again, but
Okay, because I question, I walked by one of the trucks and it's all together with
blue.
some tape and some,
They got a new truck last year?
they got a
Yeah.
new truck last year. The other truck is
Pretty beat up.
it's pretty beat up. I don't know, it's got some age to it. I don't think we put many miles on all our trucks, but,
Well, I talked to Roger, I asked him also, and, didn't sound like there was anything.
a note from Roger just this afternoon confirms they're good.
Mhm.
So no cap.
Okay. Okay, just wanted to make sure that we're getting everything.
Didn't they get a used truck from the highway department one year? Maybe that's what.
Maybe that's
No,
what
they
I,
got they did, a couple of years, I think the last year before. He didn't do much rating last year, but
Yeah.
year before, he got a good price on the truck,
Okay.
the used truck, used vehicle.
I don't see anything here.
I'm not gonna tell
no.
you. Everything,
Uh,
where we going.
Well, we can keep going down. Housing should be other.
Did you want to do gas or anything?
No,
No, okay.
at this point,
We'll
let's
just keep going,
let's do the let's do housing.
okay.
And
What time is selectmen meeting tonight?
7, I think.
It is 7?
No selectmen meetings, right?
There was a,
there's a special, I think.
oh, maybe it's just
It's.
because it was
I think
a
it's the school
agenda.
budget, school budget.
Yeah,
I
right,
thought
it's
it-
here?
Oh, there's a,
I thought it was here.
Neshoba Tech is having a
It's in
I thought I
Neshoba.
brainstorming session on their budget.
Down at
What
the
is
bottom,
selectmen?
right there,
7
yeah.
o'clock. Okay,
Where is that?
okay, sorry. Kind of like, we had a question about the regional school budget brainstorming.
Is it here?
It's on
I think
Zoom.
it's just all Zoom.
Oh, just.
Oh, okay.
And looking at it, it's probably the school because it's GoToMeeting. It's not Zoom.
Oh,
Yeah, regional school.
They invited the finance committee, school committee, and town administrators.
are you going, Don?
Well, I guess now. So, see where it is. Okay, sorry. So, Housing Authority, oops, salaries at 3%.
Yeah.
Expenses, yep, expenses are holding the same, so.
They are.
Doesn't look like anything on housing.
Board of Health went up 34.50. I think that's reasonable.
They would have what?
I'm sorry, went up 1,339.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that doesn't seem too bad. does it?
No. Okay, then, I'm gonna sort of call it on reviewing the budget at that point and get back to the Saturday meeting schedule. And last, I have it up here. Police department has been moved to first in the budget, so I swapped police department and the board of selectmen and the IT budget. And we moved council on aging to the end. At this point, there's still a couple of rules. We have recreation 12/20, and we don't have anything else. Are there any departments that have been missed that we should call in, or based on the schedule, does it look like we're gonna go a little short on the?
Treasurer collector said she was gonna be here.
Yeah.
But I told her she was not on the focus list.
Yeah.
I would suggest, well, you can move everybody up,
Yeah,
and if no one contacts you, then we get out of.
Noon?
Okay. I just wonder if police and fire are gonna.
Take a little longer.
longer.
I anticipate that.
Well, how are you planning to structure this meeting? Are you gonna basically let the boards ask questions? Or you expect a stand-up presentation and a defense from each department?
I think that would be good.
I think it, other than on the fire department, a presentation to talk about the restructuring and that, and how the impact, because all the questions seem to be around the salaries and the moving of there, so we don't have that good background on what the salary restructure is and moving forward. So that's the only one I can see. Other than that, it's the questions that have been presented, and I think you had an item that said anything over 5% should be prepared to. And again, it's a number to, if it's fuel costs going up, I think we understand it, because, year over year, fuel costs have gone up greatly. But if there's other things that have jumped significantly, we're looking for that. Now, we had police and fire. I had an open time just to try to catch it up. I can put that 15 minutes in front of the board of selectmen and the IT, and that way, if there's any runover, that's where we take it on police and fire.
Will you send me the schedule when you're done?
I will, yeah,
And would you like me to forward it to the department heads so they know?
yes, please. let's do
I
that.
think it's likely you will have run over on the fire department because the budget has changed so completely that I think even when they ask questions, it's likely to generate more questions.
Are you okay with people zooming this versus attending in person?
I think so, especially on this, on the Saturday. It's kind of like,
Do you want TCAM to film it or just to record the Zoom session?
the rest of the budgets have been recorded, so I think we need to be consistent if anybody's looking for it. We're not trying to hide. From it.
But not broadcast on TCAM, just record the
Just-
Zoom session. And then they play that Zoom
And
session.
then they can play it on,
You know,
Oh, so you're not live is what you're getting at.
we're not live with it. That's probably a good idea. It's kind of like just,
just have them post the Zoom session.
yeah, post the Zoom session and it'll be on, I believe they post them to YouTube also.
If the weather should be really bad,
Yeah,
would you either cancel the meeting or make it Zoom only, or what is your preference? Or just tell everybody.
What is the weather?
I know we can't postpone a week. The selectmen weren't able to do September or March 5th, so. We don't really have a snow date scheduled, so maybe it's Zoom only.
Okay.
I think we'll be digging out, but it should be all right Saturday.
If
my
I send
opinion.
you the email that I notice everybody on, then you could use that to
Okay.
contact them if it turns out it's gonna be Zoom only.
Yeah. Okay.
Saturday looks, I think Friday's gonna be the bad day.
Friday's
Yeah.
gonna be the bad day, but how long cleanup takes depends on
Yeah.
how much you get.
Well, that's one reason to put highway near the end, maybe more.
Yeah.
I'll send this out tomorrow. and send you the-
Okay, yeah.
But the snow's gonna end early Saturday, I mean,
Friday.
yeah, 10 o'clock Saturday, Friday, I'm sorry. 14 degrees on Saturday, though.
Oh, cow.
Anybody else have any news?
It's not the Olympics. Look it up. Okay, we've gone just a little over. Any last questions from anybody?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will
I have a
entertain the motion.
question.
Yep.
You never should ask that.
I always,
In the Council of Aging, they're kicking in $10,000. But it's $10,000 that was never in their budget before, so it's just coming from tax dollars. So why doesn't it just appear, why is the $10,000 in Council on Aging and not in the selectmen's budget?
I believe that position was moved to Council on Aging in the most recent, so the email that just came in from Ross, I believe we have moved the outreach into Council on Aging.
The whole outreach?
Or
Some of
maybe it's
that,
in
some of
both.
that is being picked up by ARPA.
Right, but the $10,000 is tax dollars, whether it's in Council on Aging or Board of Selectmen, it's tax
Yep.
dollars.
Agreed.
So
Yeah,
that with the
yeah.
cost of healthcare really makes it quite unaffordable. I think healthcare is a little under budgeted too.
I guess that's, do we have a per employee number of cost for health insurance? So the positions we're adding, the outreach coordinator, the grant administrator, the human resources. So basically, we're adding no salary, but we have the benefits and the costs.
The health insurance line item includes the people that I expect will get health insurance.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 positions that will get health insurance. The grant administrator is less than 19 hours, so
Okay,
he doesn't get.
Yeah.
Um,
outreach and human resources.
And I think one of those is being covered by ARPA, and so the second position is the requested firefighter. I put in, we are told by Maya Blue Cross Blue Shield 6.5%. So I put in 6.5% for health insurance plus the cost for the new people.
Yeah.
And we're still out to getting quotes on health insurance. So.
But you have to figure on new people that they will take the most expensive plan offered in healthcare. You can't assume that they will take anything less. And I believe that's about $22,000 a piece.
Yes, you're correct, and that's exactly what I did. I put them in for the most expensive family coverage for the health insurance.
Good.
If they take less, we get lucky. If they take.
Right, if they go
it's in the
to-
budget.
We were going to go out to bid on health insurance. What came of that?
We are in process of getting those bids back.
Oh, good.
Okay,
So Andrea, do I have to drop off this stuff or are you just getting it off the computer?
What? I'm sorry.
Are you just accepting the things that Ross sent you? Or do you want me to send the hard copy to you? Do you want me to bring the hard copies to you?
I'd like the hard copy. Thank you.
Okay,
In my big white drop-off mailbox.
I noticed, yes.
okay, at this point, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion that we adjourn 5:39.
Second,
We had a second by Gene. Roll call vote.
yes.
Gerald Bezekis,
Grant,
yes?
yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for attending.
All right.
Good night, folks.
Thank
Good
you.
night.